Parade is a mostly plotless ballet in which three circus performers, a Chinese magician, a young American girl, and an acrobat, perform briefly outside a circus tent in an effort to lure patrons inside. Each performance is preceded by an encouraging spiel from a manager, and all three managers use the same music. The manager's music has four central sections of either 9 or 12 measures in duration, preceded and followed by vamping, connecting music. The first section uses only the 7 notes of an E minor scale. There is a 3-note ostinato, EBB, that articulates the 3/8 meter and establishes E as tonic. Over that ostinato, we hear a winding, aimless diatonic melody. The melody features a recurring pair of 16th notes, CB, which are separated by 1 or 2 other notes from the scale. Initially, the melody creates a hemiola in relation to the 3/8 meter, with 3 groups of 2/8 forming a larger 3/4. That slight rhythmic tension between the parts is relieved in the final 3 measures, where melody and ostinato come into sync with each other and with the prevailing 3/8 meter. 3-note ostinato, hemiola between melody and ostinato, melody and ostinato in sync. The music of this passage is radically simplified in all domains. The 7 diatonic notes are deployed in a simple 2-part texture with a repetitive melody and a 3-note ostinato. The parts are only loosely coordinated with each other, but because of their shared diatonicism, there is no sense of clash between them, just a blank white note wash. There is a slight asynchrony between the parts rhythmically, but that evens out at the end of the section. There is no counterpoint, no voice leading, no harmonic interest. The opposite of the learned style. This is music with childlike simplicity. One aspect of its simplification is its static, non-developmental quality. Very little happens within this section. It is a static block of sound, animated by an aimless melody and rooted in place by the ostinato. There is no development, no growth, no goal, and no sense of direction. As noted, this sense of living in a timeless present with no memory and no future plans is one of the hallmarks of idiocy. The inarticulate quality of this music is another hallmark of idiocy. It eschews traditional rhetoric and narrative, presenting instead an expressive blank wall, a hard, bright surface with apparently nothing underneath. The music wanders and stumbles, but never gets anywhere. It comes very close to a sort of musical nonsense or babbling, like an inexperienced and incompetent person noodling at the piano keyboard. In section 2, the melody is simply transposed up a perfect fourth, with no other changes. But the ostinato accompaniment and the meter it defines have changed. The ostinato consists of an alternation of octave Cs with a perfect fourth GC. The ostinato lasts for 1/4 note beat and clearly articulates the 2/4 meter of this section. As a result, the melody and ostinato are rhythmically in sync at the beginning of the section and in slight conflict at the end, the opposite of the way it worked in the first section. And the tonality has shifted from minor, E minor, to major, C major. At the same time, a new diatonic collection with no sharps or flats has replaced the old one. Melody transposed up a perfect fourth, ostinato alternates C and GC. Melody and ostinato start in sync and end slightly out of sync. Another highly simplified block of music. In section 3, the melody is again transposed, but otherwise identical to its earlier presentations. The ostinato has changed a bit, and now we're in E major, although with persistent C naturals in the ostinato. As in the previous sections, the melody begins out of sync with the ostinato and the meter, then moves into sync at the end of the section. But the rhythmic effects are mild, and the harmonic combinations continue to be mostly a simple diatonic wash, without variety, without development, and without direction. Same melody, but now in E major. Slightly different ostinato. The C natural produces a mild clash. Melody and ostinato begin out of sync and then move into sync. Section 4 transposes the music one final time to F major, but with a B natural, so it's really F Lydian. The ostinato in the fourth block is in duple meter and thus begins in sync with the melody and ends out of sync. But these rhythmic effects are mild, as are the pitch combinations produced by the melody and ostinato together. Transposition to F Lydian. Melody begins in sync with the meter, then moves mildly out of sync. The form of the passage as a whole consists of 4 very similar blocks connected by simple transposition. Within each block, we have radically simplified consonant diatonic wash, conveying a sense of childish, naive clumsiness bordering on the nonsensical. There is no sense of an expressive or narrative trajectory, just a bright, cheery, expressionless blank. The entire ballet takes place in a circus, an environment oriented toward children and animals, those familiar markers of idiocy. A circus always has aspects of a freak show in which people with extraordinary bodies are exhibited for the amazement and amusement of the audience. The performers are infreaked by their appearance in such a context, and Satie's music participates in their infreakment by associating their bodies with the musical signs of idiocy.